Second, the number one thing that you can be in Christianity does not phase Darkheart whatsoever, right? When she saves his life, he's
We
like,
will have to break away here in a little while I change one of these cast bandages out. And then we'll probably do a few upload shorts of his drawing and such.
Crazy line.
But we shall see. Oh.
It's giving the sword with which deism was slain in Germany a chandelier of frozen feeling. Chandelier of frozen feelings is made, and suddenly, somehow, Palpatine has returned, and he's got, like, the evil Midas touch, so he touches things and, like, sucks all the care and goodness out of the world. How that works?
And yeah, in the last one we managed to get a full set of gold armor. Intact, too.
All that work is caring that Christy did, right, saving his life. Darkheart is still just taking advantage of her and her care and not giving a shit, and in fact hurting more people as a result of, being saved, which is, like, not ideal, but also, like, not wrong in this universe. It is definitely framed as she's in the right, very much in the right. And they end up in, like, a cave situation, doesn't matter. There's, like, the chandelier. He's like, our deal's done, you should go. And then she is like, no, I have learned my lesson. I came full circle. I care about bears. I'm staying. And he's like, that's stupid. No, he tells her, like, you held a grand bargain. We're done. We're done here. Like, you can go. I'm not keeping you here. And she's like, no, again, we just went through this. I'm gonna stay. And then he says something
Children,
else.
that's my leg you're clawing into. Please stop.
Deal was done with, you saved my life. I am saving yours. Go. Like, I'm gonna let you live. Get out. Which, like, she doesn't do. But what this does show us is that Darkheart is still in this, like, justice-based ethical mindset, where it's like an eye for an eye, and he's like, logically, like, I shouldn't just kill her, because our deal's done. So if she wants to leave, she can. And then when she refuses, his next thought process is, well, like, logically, I shouldn't kill her, because she didn't kill me when she had the chance. So, like, if she saved my life, like, I guess I kind of, like, I should save her. Like, that's only fair. What's interesting is that he didn't start that bargain, right? Like, when she first saved him, he didn't really acknowledge it. He was like, oh, cool, I guess. Good for me. Weird if true, but cool. But he's like, now I'm supposed to acknowledge that she did the thing. So her kind of saving him, her choosing to save him regardless of what she owed him, what he owed her, anything like that, her choosing to, like, risk herself.
Kittens are making it very difficult to stream today with their antics. Makes me want to hook up the camera more for y'all to watch their antics.
You did this, so I do this. This is fair, this is logical, ethical system. This is classic care ethics and justice ethics. Because that's what the whole thing is about. That's what this whole thing is that we're here in the Care Bears movement to a new generation. This confrontation between care ethics and justice ethics, which is a very sanitary way of saying that this is why you should kill God. Part 5. Why need you kill God? One of the criticisms that care ethics gets is that care ethics is a slave morality, and that's what Nietzsche thinks. So Nietzsche basically believes that, like, oppressed people tend to develop moral feelings that reaffirm subservient traits as virtues, right? Nietzsche saw Christianity and religion as a whole as perpetuating this kind of morality specific.
Hello, dear viewer. How are you doing?
Of suffering and of selfless. And not everyone knows where it's all going, okay?
Well, have a wonderful day then.
Care ethics also gets accused of being slave morality quite often. There's a big criticism of it. According to the Encyclopedia of Philosophy, following description, the charge that care ethics is slave morality interprets the different voice of care as emerging from patriarchal traditions characterized by rigidly enforcing sexual division and labor. This critique issues caution against uncritically valorizing caring practices and inclinations because women who predominantly perform the work of care often do so to their own economic and political disadvantage. It's all well and good to say that women typically approach things with a different outlook that's based on care and interpersonal relationships, but you're not necessarily complex interpersonal relationships, is it really like a different valid type of ethical approach, or is it just a product of the way that people who are raised and socialized as women and girls have to learn to survive anything? And it's prompted a lot of people, obviously, like, to draw the line. This kind of criticism gets sort of handled by a lot of academics and philosophers and writers in a lot of different ways. One of them being like strictly defining care, right? So that you're not including things like giving up all of your hopes and dreams because you can't economically support yourself and you need to have support of a man as care, right? Like, so that you're not defining things like that are hurtful to you as care. And one of the popular definitions from Joan Tronto, writing with Bernice Fisher, is that care is a species of activity that includes everything we do to maintain, sustain, and repair our world so that we can live in it as well as possible. That world includes our bodies, ourselves, and our environment. Tronto identifies like care specifically as a practice, so not necessarily a virtue, but something that is done, but with the sort of sub-elements and checklist of attentiveness, so a proclivity to become aware of and see when someone needs something, responsibility, a willingness to respond to that need, a competence, being able to actually respond to that need, and responsiveness, consideration of the position of others, and to see and recognize the potential for abuse in care. And that one I think is important if you are trying to defend care ethics against this slave morality sort of argument. It's also important if you're analyzing the Care Bears movie to a new generation, because Darkheart fully abuses the care that Christy gives him in saving his life, but he immediately continues to exacerbate disease. She is determined to stay and try and save the bears. He like hits her with like a magic ray of some kind. She's like dying on the floor, and she pulls out like a marble shooter thing, shoots the chandelier down from the ceiling so it cracks. All the bears are free. They all like defeat Darkheart with their Care Bear stare, and when all is said and done, she's dead. Which is not a problem. Remember, this is a Christian morality tale, right? That is the best possible thing that could happen. Oh my god. This is martyrdom. I told you earlier, she is about to be the best possible thing that you can be in Christian tales. Because that's martyr. That is martyr. Dying is the best thing that could have happened to Christy right now, because Christy has died in this selfless act of taking the god little like angel bear thing from the devil himself. So we all know what happens next. We know what's coming. We're all ready for it. We've been primed. We've been prepped. It's the Christian redemption cycle. Darkheart is like, oh my god, no, not the pretty one. And girly pop rises. Girl pop rising. Okay. Darkheart is like, what good is all of your love if you cannot save this one human child? Blah 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 blah. He's like sort of coming around, ethically speaking. He's like, damn, like I killed a hot girl, what a bummer. I'm really fucking with you though, not because he's like having a magical epiphany, but because he has said, he said, you saved my life, I'm saving yours, and then she died. So like she paid him, and he can't repay the debt, and his like justice-based, like fairness ethic, like can't compute this. And he's like, oh my god, maybe I've been doing things wrong my entire life. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? And all the bears are like, we got you, and they do like Care Bear stare, we can save everyone's path if you believe in care. That's not a joke. They really do like fourth wall break, and they're like, say you care, we care. It's very creepy. And then Jesus Christ rises himself, herself from the tomb like a phoenix from the ashes of moral depravity, and Darkheart's eyes turn blue. He becomes a capital R, capital B real boy, learns that it doesn't matter who is camp champ, because they're all camp champ when they care, and he gets the girl. They're holding hands. They're holding hands at the end, which, good for him. You know, we love a Byronic hero. What, did you think I wasn't going to mention? You thought I wasn't going to mention him, huh? I mean, come on. That boy who cries. I'm joking, but also that is absolutely some shit that he would do. Like, he would terrorize everyone's lives, belittle their moral values, get a girl killed, and then still be like, don't you want to date me? And you know what? She would. This would absolutely happen to him, 150%. Maybe not bears, but like, that's just because I don't know how many bears there are in England. Do you think that's bears? I lived there. I feel like I should have known if there were. I feel like I would know. I feel like I would have known too. Anyway, don't know. I don't know anything. Anyway, I hope you liked this. I hope you had a good time. I had a great time. I want to let you know that I have merch, which is fun and new. If you'd like to get a t-shirt or a tote bag. Thanks to Nurex for sponsoring today's video. More from them later. Hello, my dudes. Today, I want to dig into the so-called boomerification of Gen Z. When are we going to talk about the boomerification of Gen Z? Boomerification of Gen Z. Boomerification of Gen Z. The way Gen Z talks on its app is so similar to that of boomers in real life. The way that Gen Z acts on TikTok and the way that boomers act on Facebook, literally the exact same energy.
The way that Gen Z has this intense similarity with boomers, right? The boomerification of Gen Z.
That is just boomerism 2.0. The boomerification of Gen Z is an accusation mainly lobbed by millennials onto the Zoomers. This term was largely popularized by TikTok user LA Trash, who's been talking about the similarities since 2022. The claims essentially argue Gen Z hasn't been behaving or voting in the ways we expected them to, meaning more similarly to millennials when we were your age. They say, you're young, you're even more diverse than us, you're supposed to be the most progressive, but in some ways, you're acting less like young people and more like boomers. So in this video, I want to examine some of these claims, dig into what we're really talking about, and see whether there's any truth to it all. Or perhaps, are millennials actually the real boomers here for making fun of kids these days? And yes, I know Gen Z aren't kids, they're actually in their teens to late 20s now. For the record, I'm a zillennial, okay? I come in peace. I am not here to stoke the generational divide, but I do keep finding myself returning to these related topics. Millennials and Gen Z. Maybe it's because I'll never feel like I'm either generation. But also I'm fascinated because some people insist these generational differences don't exist. They're not real. To which I strongly disagree. There definitely are distinctions that are evidenced through data and anecdotes, but I think it's crucial to dig into the why. Why are we different? I'm trying to look at this through a sociological lens. Honestly, the older and further I get from young people, the more I seek to just understand them. So first, we've got to define Gen Z and boomers so we know who we're actually talking about. The baby boomers were born between 1946 and 64. So in 2025, their current age range is 61 to 79. Gen Z were born between 1997 and 2012, making them currently 13 to 28. And next question, if we're talking about boomerification, what is that? What is the essence of a boomer? What is considered boomer behavior? I think you have to go back to the OK Boomer meme, which honestly I could have sworn has been around for like a decade, but it actually became mainstream in 2019, the before time.
Really?
Lorenz wrote, OK Boomer has become the endlessly repeated retort to the problem of older people who just don't get it. A rallying cry for millions of fed up kids. Teenagers use it to reply to cringy YouTube videos, Donald Trump tweets, and basically any person over 30 who says something condescending about young people and the issues that matter to them. OK Boomer is simply a snarky response. Any grouchy, out-of-touch older people criticizing young people? OK Boomer. Millennials killed Applebee's. OK Boomer. In some ways, Boomer has become synonymous with old, but it's really more about the behavior and the attitude than your actual age. And OK Boomer can absolutely apply to Gen X, and on occasion, even millennials. But quickly, it's also important to acknowledge the power imbalance within the context of the meme. Boomers have long been in control. They've been running this country. They have shaped the world, and in many ways, they have destroyed it. So especially for young people, OK Boomer isn't just saying, haha, you're old. It's, you ruined everything, you stupid bitch. Younger people were born into this world that was already wrecked by you old people. Then on top of that, you're constantly mocking and making fun of young people, so calling you boomers derogatory is really the least we can do. Lorenz wrote, in the end, boomer is just a state of mind. Anyone can be a boomer with the right attitude. You don't like change. You don't understand new things, especially related to technology. You don't understand equality. One team said, being a boomer is just having that attitude. It can apply to whoever is bitter towards change. So taking in some of that context, anyone can be boomer-esque. But is it really possible that the tables have turned so much that Gen Z themselves are now acting like or being compared to boomers? Are there really significant similarities? Here are some of the accusations of boomerosity that I've collected, and these are alleged, so don't shoot the messenger. Just like boomers, Gen Z love to hate millennials. Boomer lead vape stare beats the Gen Z stare. And apparently now we're learning that vapes are full of lead, so I fear we may be coming full circle. Boomers and Gen Z are tech illiterate. While most millennials were raised to be the family tech support, apparently both Zoomers and boomers struggle to use a desktop computer. Similarly, they share a lack of resourcefulness. This is 50 reflects the whole, I can do whatever I want here because I pay money. That's giving the same energy as I'm a paying customer. I should get whatever I want.
And lastly, we've been seeing a surprising rise of conservatism and traditional talking points, gender roles, social concepts, usually reserved for the old, coming from Gen Z. But before we continue, this portion of today's video is sponsored by Nurex. Raise your hand if you've ever struggled to access birth control. I definitely have, whether it's getting my prescription or dealing with refills. It's not always easy to access, which can be very stressful and frustrating. But Nurex can help you take charge of your reproductive health with comprehensive treatment options and quality care all in one place. Nurex offers a convenient, private way for patients to connect with a healthcare provider online. Then your medication will get sent straight to your door in discreet packaging. Whether you're into the pill, the patch, or the ring, they will work with you to find the best option for your needs. Nurex accepts insurance for most birth control prescriptions, and if you're uninsured, they'll make your out-of-pocket costs very clear, which is important. We don't like surprise bills. So thank you to Nurex for sponsoring today's video. Taking control of your health starts here. You can go to nurex.com/tiffanyfirst to get started, or just click the link in the description. That's NURX.com/tiffanyfirst. So what is going on
Hello, hello, dear viewer. How are you doing today?
They've said, yes, we stare at people, especially at work when you're talking to a customer and they're saying something crazy or really dumb, or they're being so horrible and I can't say what I'm really thinking or I'm going to get fired, so I'm just
Have a
gonna
good
stare.
evening
Hopefully they'll
now.
take the hint and leave. So then older people were like, no, that's the customer service stare. We're familiar with it. Everyone who's ever worked a job has done that. What we're talking about is different, and it is specifically a Gen Z phenomenon. These Zoomers are interacting with us either as customers or workers, strangers or acquaintances, in ways we haven't
Excuse
seen
me,
before.
sorry about that, future viewers. I did not mean to burp
That's why
like
we've
that.
coined a whole new term for it.
Honestly, it's not resting bitch face. It's not somebody saying something dumb. The Gen Z stare occurs.
Hello, Ultra Lice.
Occur after you
Hello, Ultra Ice. How are you doing?
strangers. There is a book in there with people that are still your like acquaintance, coworker, friends. You know what I mean?
And people have some theories, okay? Some have said it's as if Gen Z are waiting for the adults to answer, but they've forgotten they're the adults now. Others have said Zoomers are staring at us during IRL conversations as if they're just watching a TikTok. Their eyes are glazing over. Maybe it's because you can't 2 times speed in person.
I think it's because we're being raised on screens type of thing. It's almost like mid-conversation, they're watching you as if you're a fucking TikTok or a YouTube video. And it's not the whole entire time. It's like they're waiting on the Mr. Beast editing, fun TikTok editing for it to happen.
So again, in my survey, I asked about this, and most of my respondents were Gen Z.
I
so I'm really glad
disagree
got
with
to hear
this
from
take,
them
and
directly. And I'm gonna say
I don't work with a lot of Gen Zs. I did when I worked at Zaxby's, and most of the time with them there, it was just frustration. Like, resting bitch face is a good way to put it. It's basically, I want to say something, but if I say what I want to say, I'm going to get fired or otherwise in trouble. So it's look, outside of that, it's like, I don't know. I don't associate with people of that age range enough, I guess. Because ones that I do associate with, what few there are, I don't notice anything particularly different or special about their stare. It just seems like a normal, okay, you asked me a question, I gave you an answer, now what? That's the thing, it's more of a politeness thing, and I get it, because hell, it's most of the older folks I work with that are all, oh, these generations are so rude. I'm like, y'all, we're giving them a destroyed planet. Like, the planet we got that we're told, woo, hello zombie. The planet we got that we were told, hey, the world is your oyster, go forth and da-da-da, and go to college and everything will be okay. They didn't even get the go to college and everything will be okay. If they paid attention in science class, ecology taught us 2050, it doesn't really matter what the fuck we're doing. 2050, if nothing big changes, we're not going to be here by 2060 unless you have a lot of money. And if you don't have more money than God, we won't be here by 2070. So I get the whole side of it. And I'm not going to be like, well, you should be nice. No, fuck that. We fucked the younger generation. I'm sorry, I'll say it as an elder millennial. There's nothing I could have done, like, on a personal, real level. I did my best, and I'm still doing my best. I think we should. But it's like, it's sort of like how, and it's not that comparable, but it's sort of like how you can hear it from, I don't want to call it this as a white person, I just feel it's not my place, but I feel like it's similar to that black or ethnic fatigue with white folks, that it's like, hey, you already know this shit, I shouldn't have to explain it, that sort of fatigue at shit, you know? Then again, maybe you don't. I am not, unfortunately. I am playing on the PlayStation 4. Sorry, for so long it was PlayStation 3. But yeah, I'm playing on PS4. If you would like to join me, I do have multiplayer on. We just have to be friends. and I will have to leave to go to the main menu to do that, because this is hardcore. I don't want to die. And this just put a big old hole in my base. So not that bad. I don't know. For that one, it's more of... and currently, if you're wondering and you can't hear what I'm responding to, I'm listening to Tiffany Anyferg and her take on the boomerification of Gen Z internet analysis. I don't think it's the boomerification, because to me, boomers are... It's more of a rudeness and unwillingness to connect. Most of the Gen Z I've met are more than willing to connect. They're just also don't treat them like they're idiots while they're trying to connect to you. They're not robots. So if you treat them like a robot, they're going to treat you like a jackass. I mean, it's like what I do to people, but I don't... Mine's not a generational thing. It's just I'm done with people thing. I'm polite to the people I have to be polite to. I'm respectful to everyone I can be, but I'm also not gonna, you know, accept verbal abuse from nonsense. Y'all have a good day now. But, I mean, that being said, I'm gonna try to not be rude outright for no reason, you know. Try to be nice where you can for niceness' sake, but I don't expect that from people, especially not if you're in, like, the service industry, anything that you have to see how people really be acting. Because people act fucking foolish when they think they can get away with it, and more or less they know they can, because the way our society lets them. Y'all, that's why when I'm, like, in a store, and I take it upon myself, I'm not gonna, like, outright cuss out a customer, but that being said, for example, the other day when I was in Dollar General, a few weeks ago I guess now, an old woman barks at the lady behind the register like she should just have a mental inventory of everything in the store, and then turns to me after she sends the one worker away from the counter to go check on the shelf for just good service, you know, and just... Yeah, I would have thought that as a person wanting said item, you would have just gone and checked where she had advised you to check. Oh, is that what I should have done? Yeah, you're kind of stupid for not doing it that way. Again, take it right to the level they're being at. It's sort of like I fuck up white people sometimes when they try to pull that, you know how they are. No, I don't. What? How, who are? All I do is, it's the same reason that when I hear a rude one on the mic at work, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Because most people, when they're a jackass, they take a hot second, oh, that, yeah, I don't want to say that again. But that's not all people, y'all. Same as it takes a very special kind of person to get lost in your own damn base. There we are.
And therefore, voting Republican feels boomer-esque. But that generalization is not totally accurate. There's a pretty major split within boomers as well. Again, elders versus younger, who I just learned are also called Generation Jones. Throughout their lifetime, elder boomers have favored Democrats.
I don't mind Generation Jones. That sounds nice.
But why? Here's the thing. I spent way too long reading about the voting records of each generation when they were the youth, most of which went in the trash. So now you have to hear at least a little bit about this, okay? It's interesting, alright? I'm trying to draw parallels. I'm trying to see if maybe Gen Z and boomers have something in common. Maybe their generations actually have similar mindsets or struggles. I don't know. Let's go back to 1968. This was the first presidential election that any boomers could vote in, because at the time the voting age was 21. The 1968 election was crazy,
Okay.
Voters got to choose between, quote, two stiff, unlikable vice presidents. Nixon won, and this ushered in an era of Republican dominance until Clinton in the 90s. So, just think about that. You know, a pretty rough first electoral experience for the boomers, right? This is significant not just because it happened to be their first election, but as Pew has argued, there's a pattern to be seen in the voting habits of young people. Quote, the political climate of early adulthood may continue to influence the political tilt of a generation throughout its
Just a
lifespan.
one
And according to
door.
this Brookings article, when young voters come of age during an administration considered to be successful, that cohort tends to support that political party and continue to disproportionately vote that way for decades afterwards. By contrast, coming of age under a president seen as unsuccessful or unpopular during their term encourages that cohort to reject that party both initially and in the long term. So those oldest anti-war boomers came of age under Nixon, who they hated, which led them to largely reject Republicans. There's this great graph that shows you the lifetime voting habits based on birth year, and it is so interesting. So elder boomers are still more likely to vote Democratic. Shout out to my grandma. I've got a liberal boomer grandma. While the boomers born even just a few years later were raised through Reagan and Bush Sr. and became big, proud Republicans. I'm going to circle this back to Gen Z soon, but I just found it so interesting. So finally, is it true that Gen Z is becoming more conservative? Let's try to look at the data. In 2024, youth voter turnout was 47%, which is not great, by the way. Like, imagine if most of our country actually voted. Anyway, young voters, 18 to 29, which is mostly Gen Z, favored Kamala Harris. And this age group were actually her biggest supporters. But Kamala had a smaller margin of support compared to Biden or Hillary. So it would be wrong to say that Gen Z are overwhelmingly conservative. The majority still favor Democrats.
Call that.
But that drop in support compared to 2020 is significant and worth digging into. What's going on? You can't really compare election results like apples to apples because obviously the context of everything matters, but we should definitely pay attention to which direction various demographics are swinging. Surprise, surprise, there's another layer to the political split within Gen Z, gender. When we're talking about whether young people are getting more conservative, not so much for women, but it definitely seems to be the case for many Gen Z men. This tough circle polling found young women preferred Harris to Trump.
Part of that's because old people lied to the younger men, and they honestly think that if... Okay, y'all, they didn't have the older sisters or the mothers or the crazy aunts, so they don't know what it's like to have a woman in your life that just genuinely hates the man she's with. And I mean, it's not because he's a man, it's because of the kind of man he is and who he was when they met him versus who he is now. And in a world of, oh, if I don't like him, I can divorce him, just that, you end up with mostly healthy-esque relationships because, yeah, hell, my line has always been when I hear these people go off on the take up my wife, I hate up my wife, well, why don't y'all just get a divorce then? Fuck. And yeah, I hear the older tiered generation going, well, back in our day, yeah, but back in your day, you also had a very high rate of people who murdered their wives, and people who cheated on their wives and then murdered them, or wives that murdered their husbands in order to get their kids. I'm just saying that there's no, here's the ideal blueprint. It's all just, we're doing our best with what we've got. It's why I would be all for giving this little social experiment of you make the bed, you lay in it with the person a try, if that hadn't been the norm for the past 90 plus years. Notice I said 90. I didn't put hundreds on there. I didn't put thousands. Up until that point, until living memory, very real talk, yeah, it was basically dependent on the area you were in. Maybe you fell in love with your sweetheart and you two tried to make a fairy tale go of it. More than likely, you fell in love with the village girl and you tried to come up with the dowry to buy her. also possible, depending on the culture, you tried to priss and prim yourself up enough to where the village lady would pay attention to you. Also possible, maybe you had to go through the broker of marriages and such. It's, y'all, there's never been a, well, here's how romance works. The birds, y'all, do y'all hear the insanity of, well, I'm just going to teach our children about the birds and the bees. Okay, well, birds are incredibly weird and very amorphic in the way they do things, and bees are an insect. I mean, I would argue, and I'm arguing out of my ass with this one, but I would say the birds and the bees was more related to the haves and the have-nots. But even then, it's still, the phrasing falls apart if you pull yourself out of where it's connected to anything. If I came up to you as a non-American or a non-birds and bees person and I said, well, let me tell you how we taught our children about mating. We talked about birds and bugs. Well, that's a weird way to tell your kids about fucking. It's all in the matter of how you talk about it. It's also why I try to be understanding and kind where I can do with certain things, because, yeah, y'all, okay, it's sort of like how I've lost patience in my age. I've gained more patience with old people assuming everything's the devil. I've gained a lot more patience with that. I've lost a lot of patience with the devil equals bad. Which is not a good trait on my part, because yes, very much so. Hell, even I do it sometimes with the whole devil's due and such. I still make references that I don't particularly care for, considering I think the better saying would be not today, Jesus. Because, I mean, look at the Holy Written Scripture. The devil only appears a few times, and typically when appeared and taken in no lighting whatsoever other than just text. The devil teaches us to be self-reliant, to question, and to oppose both our own thoughts as well as the thoughts of tradition. Now granted, that doesn't mean you should burn it all down, Molotov it. But that does mean that one should, you know, examine your own thoughts. I try to. It's just, especially in this current algorithmically driven society, it is very difficult to test yourself. I mean, y'all, literally my algorithm, if I want to look it up, is on the left, Hassan Piker, Bad Empanada, XQC, Suris, Jake, and on the right, it's Charlie Kirk, and PragerU, and Nick Fuentes. So it's literally lefties of various flavors, or straight up Nazis. I saw a Vosh video the other day, and all that went through my head was, hey, didn't I ban you and XQC videos? Not like I have any saying over them, and I don't judge you if you're into their stuff. Big tent, all that. I just, XQC had a lot of bad takes in my opinion, and Bosch also, I don't care for his biker takes, and anytime he tries to take the high ground, I just picture his very weedily, hey, is that Lolly? No, dude, I'm just into goblin chicks. I mean, cool if true, but your goblin chicks, there are an awful lot of non-green goblins there. Oh, what, you racist against goblins? No, just saying the difference between a short stack and a child is typically age and experience. When it comes to drawings, you know, I'm not going to dig too far into that. It's, like I said, I have my problems with both creators. I would like someone else from the left. So being that I couldn't find anyone else, I decided to be that someone else. And I'm doing my best, y'all. Am I doing good? That remains to be seen. Honestly, I just tried my best, I try my best to just be, you know, understanding, but not a pushover. Be nice, but again, be firm in my convictions. And that's where I think I pull that off pretty well. I'm willing to change my opinion and feelings if I'm proven wrong. But if your proof is feelings, well, friend, I have feelings too. And since it's my channel, my feelings get to reign supreme. On your channel, your feelings can reign supreme. And I highly, highly recommend, especially with YouTube doing all this age verification, which I don't have a problem with, but I have a problem with the invasion of privacy. Y'all, I was raised in a generation before the internet was the major thing. I remember, not to get too old on y'all, but having to, hey, everybody go to me getting on the internet, because while I was on the internet, we didn't have a phone line. I remember those days of the internet. I remember my grandfather, and for years, I still do it sometimes unintentionally, hey, I need the social security number. I don't say it. I've got it memorized, so I write down the last 4 digits, hand it to the person, and then wait for them to respond so I can give them the first 3 in the middle too. For the record, that's an asinine thing to do to a person, because if anyone wants that number, it's already out there on the dark web or the deep web or whatever the fuck you call it now. Your information is there too. If you've worked with Comcast, or anyone in your household has worked with Comcast that would have your number, yeah, that information got leaked. Hell, during the first Trump administration, a major Social Security leak went out, and during the chaos of everything else, we just, you know, bigger fish. But it's still, at this point, fuck it, you can do what the stupid internet person did with their credit card information. Now, that being said, you totally shouldn't do that. But I'm just saying, whenever someone's, oh, you should totally invest in this privacy protection software and this and this, why? Will it pull it back off? Can you put Pandora back in the box? Because if the answer's no, kind of a waste of time. Now, if you're new to this, if you're baby fresh, if your parents were around and protected themselves and you through the tech breaches and all that, yeah, maybe go ahead and get you a VPN. It'll do you good. If you want to save money and, you know, get the full range of motion out of, like, cable and, well, not cable, but internet nonsense. Yeah, totally. I'm just saying, if you're doing it for security's sake, I would warn against it being kind of a waste of time, personally. You know? But then again, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a fry cook. I'm not an internet service provider like that. I'm just a guy that spends money like you do on stupid shit sometimes, that if I can save money on it, so can you. And if I find a way to do it, I'll tell you where I save it, if I can. I'll also try to, you know, help y'all be safe from the scams if I can help it too. I just, you know, in a whole world of performance and nonsense, I'm trying to give y'all real, best as I can. Because sometimes I get real tired. Like I said, y'all, I don't know what I'm doing any more than the next person. I just don't want anyone to do anything horrible in my name, and I don't want anyone to feel sad if I can help prevent such things. Hell, I don't have a degree. I don't have any of the prerequisites some of my favorite streamers got. And in ways, I'm kind of happy for that, because I can tell you, yeah, I saved money in that sense. But, I mean, I live as an American, so every day we roll the D20 on, am I going to eat today? Is everything I've worked towards going to vanish into thin air? I mean, hell, I live in a perpetual state of I don't have money, but I could probably get it if I needed it. I'll have money for one day a week, and then it's sort of just a grab, and somebody's going to walk away upset with me. And that's after, you know, working and do, okay, my drink's still good. That's working and doing this, and y'all, typically the soda I drink is designated by what's on sale at the Dollar General. If I feel creative, I might try to make a soda, like one of the wild alternatives, but I don't exactly get time to go into the wild places anymore. My gathering wild supplies comes from going out, and as I walk to work, if I see something, I nab it. If it's something that has seeds, I strip the seeds out of it, I plant the seeds, and I see what can grow. That's it. I'm not saying this to get any sympathy or say I'm special in any way. It's to be more relatable, be more like a grandfather, an older brother, an uncle, or whatever have you. Someone that you can come by, hang out with, shoot the shit with, and go away from without having to feel any kind of way about it outside of, hey, we just two motherfuckers hanging out on the internet. Sometimes I talk about heavy shit if we get into like gun violence, because my country is cursed with that shit like a goddamn curse. Yeah, I'll get a little heated. Don't try to... I'm sorry, as a person who's occupied space in this country, it feels like, oh, you getting mad about it? Did I trigger you, bro? You mad, bro? It's like, I mean, if I was mad about Marvel, mad about DC, or the state of a Disney movie, yeah, totally. Get onto me for that. Make fun of me for that. If I'm upset because this newest generation of Pokemon doesn't speak to my heart, or because I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Done gone woke, or whatever, yeah, lambaste me for that shit. But hey, y'all, children just got murdered in another country, and my money and your money went to do that. That pisses me off. That's upsetting. That's not a sign of fucking weakness, y'all. That's not a, oh, that triggered. No, that's like real talk. That's like, y'all, I am human, as are you, I would hope. Humans feel a certain type of way about a certain type of fucking thing. And I think we should all feel a certain type of way about things like, you know, the Epstein files, which a whole lot of people got quiet about. I'll say it right now. Hey, y'all, if there's somebody in the Epstein files that's been proven to be an Epstein pedophile, I don't care if it's Carl Sagan. I don't care if it's Don Knox. I don't care if it's Robin fucking Williams. God rest his merciful soul. But go ahead, let me know. Lambaste them, let it out. Fuck them over, fuck them. Period, boo. Whether it's Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, or Donald J. Trump, the current president of the United States. I find it to be a lot more suspicious that, oh, well, I want the pedophile tapes released as long as we're sure that, you know, my guy ain't on. No, dude, if my guy's on them, they ain't my guy. Fuck that person. 10 toes down, done with it, you know. Hello, dear viewer. I will quickly change the subject to something a little happier, as you are new and I don't know who you are yet. Feel free to say something. Have a good day, then. I don't blame them. Like I said, it's hard walking into a hard subject, you know. It's why I seldom have a schedule and why I just sort of play it off the cuff all the time. Sometimes it's not good for the cause. Most times it is, because you hate me as I am. I wish I had money, y'all. Wish I had money for singing lessons. Although I am happy and sing the praises of our boy, Jesse Wells has officially made it onto the YouTube lists of he is an up-and-coming folk singer, linked amongst the likes of Poor Man's Poison and others, which, given that I've only heard of Jesse Wells, like, this year, last year, the fact that he's up there with Poor Man's Poison, somebody that I've been listening to since 2010, that's pretty fucking good. I kind of wish we had more folk singers, y'all. The beauty of folk music is just that. It originated in the mountains of Appalachia and on the reservations of the plains and on the reservations of the west. Well, I said west. As far as like the south. It originated with slaves and on plantations. It originated in prisons and on trains. It is the ballad of the working class. It's the blood and bones of this country. If you can sing a rhyme, if you can string words together, yeah, my brother, if you are of a certain melanin complexion, you can be a rapper. If you are lacking in that melanin, why, my brothers and sisters, I beg of you, learn how to carry that tune over and over and start singing. Okay, so you can't sing. You can't carry a tune in a bucket with a lid. Okay, that's fine too. There's guitars, there's ukuleles. Y'all, if synth is all you can do, then do synth. I'm not like knocking that. I'm just saying, y'all, when I hear people say I can't do art, I don't have hobbies because I can't do hobbies. Y'all, take two spoons, put them back to back, and then slap them bitches together. Boom, you got an instrument. Now, yeah, it's going to sound like shit for quite some time, but practice with your spoons and eventually you'll carry a tune. That's what folk music is, y'all. Hell, I hear people every day at work when I work with the children, I hear people every day go, well, I want to do what you do. Why? I'm not successful at it, but if you want to do what I do, just turn on your console when you play a game. Save it for posterity. When you talk about something, stand down on what you're talking about as far as, well, this is how I feel about it, and this is why. Don't be squishy. Be real with folks, and there you go. 90% of what this is just time plus practice. Time and talent. But nobody's born with shit. You can be born with the time as far as like, I don't have to work for 6 days this week, so I can stream every day 4 or 5 videos. You can have that kind of time. I don't, but you might. But hell, if you do I guarantee if you do one video a day, every day, no matter what that video is, just, hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is my YouTube channel for the day. You'll gain people. People crave, like, in a world of Mr. Beasts and of, hey y'all, I'm being real rebel radio here for you now. Let me tell you how the real story is. That they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the fucking frogs gay, y'all. Real rebel media. Now buy my bone broth, buy my products, buy. Yeah, just having a motherfucker, hey y'all, I don't really know what I'm doing, but this is me trying to be real. You'll get people to watch your channel, y'all. Hello, dear viewer, how are you doing? Slightly less edgy topic that I'm talking about. Well, y'all have a good day too. Like I said, it's be real with people, and yeah, you'll have a shit ton of people that just come in and out. Then you'll have that wolf guy. You'll have a bonito. You'll have a bear beater, a forget-me-not. You'll have a person that comes through and they're just, hey dude, I like you cooking. What's up? And from there, shit goes onward. You get viewers, you get people. And as long as you don't get a big-ass head about it, and you don't start thinking you're some kind of fucking god, remember where you came from, you too can do this. My biggest thing, if you want to know the secret to doing what I do, I never expect this to take off. If it does, awesome. I would love to do this full time. Get up in the morning and either do some... I've got a woodworking kit. As soon as the weather lightens up, I plan on doing a couple wooden staffs, and while I can't edit out the background noise yet, so it's basically going to be picture, still, I'll be doing that here soon. I would love to schedule like woodworking in the morning from this period to this period, then video games from this period to this period, wild animal talks where I just walk the path, pick up garbage, and we spot what we can spot. I'd love to do that shit, y'all, but at the same time, I'm not gonna. I still gotta feed my wild ones, I still gotta feed my real ones, I still gotta. We got responsibilities, as do you. And while I would never ask for, hey, buy my bullshit, I would say, yeah, y'all, real talk, if you like what you're seeing, help fund it. If you don't like what I'm doing, that's cool too, but please go fund what you like, because if you don't fund it, it's not going to get funded. I don't know, I think I can make those half slates and it'll be quicker to go down and up. I don't know. Let's see if I can go down and up with a staircase there. Okay, cool. In that case, we'll combine both of those right there. We'll call that one done. As I said, the other thing about just enjoying the talking is I would like to actually hire an editor at some point. Because I know I could give you better content if it was edited. I just also know I can't edit for shit. Because believe it or not, y'all, I hate the sound of my own voice. I know it's astounding considering what I do and what I'm doing here, but most of the reason I can do that is I say it once, I say it loud, I say it proud, I'm done. I might repeat myself if it's something that I care a lot about and I don't know if I said it right, or I'm trying to make sure I said it correctly. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. I repeat myself, but as far as like, I don't have a script. Eventually, once I figure out like, I've got the list of things that I've memorized that you just can't say. For example, I can tell you that you could build a pipe bomb out of the ingredients at a Home Depot. I couldn't say, hey y'all, here's the ingredients. Here's how you mix them. Make sure to do this and this. I can't. I can tell you that. I can tell you that there are steps. I can do that kind of nonsense, ha-ha. But real talk, I'm not going to tell y'all how to do something that could hurt you, because on top of what I could tell you, well, hell, I can tell you this part's easy. Back in the day, in the 90s and early 2000s, because I want to say it was good up until 2015, and then they changed the formula. But up until 2015, there was a game you could play if you were a psychopath in the South and you wanted to have some loud fun. And yeah, it would be just that. It'd be loud fun as long as you were quick about it. But I digress. You take aluminum foil, and it had to be aluminum foil brand. And then you take and you roll your aluminum foil like you're making a core. Like it's a nuclear core, and that's what we would call it. Then you take a plastic bottle. Ideally something that was decently made. It has to be a Coca-Cola product or a Faygo product. Something that was made with a degree of pride, so it was thicker. Then you take some Drano. Now this is where I can tell you this because this will not work anymore. Do not do this, you will make a mess. You might even make a poison of some kind, but you will not make a fun, loud explosive because they changed the formula. Ha ha, sad, sad. But it's, you take the Drano with the crystals, and that's how I knew what it was, but it was a Drano bottle that was the high-end Drano. Cost about $14 at the time, and when you'd shake it, it would slosh. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But it had these little crystals inside of it that more or less would help break up the crap in the drain, I guess, with a chemical reaction. When you mixed it with aluminum foil back in the day, it would cause the plastic bottle to swell really big within like 5 to 10 seconds, and then like a I'm sorry, viewer, you walked in and walked out. This doesn't work anymore if that makes you feel better. For those of you watching those cool cats in the future, I will reiterate again, don't try this. It won't work. You will either make a poison of some kind from the plastic breaking down from the Drano, or you will make something that I don't know. Don't try this. This is stupid shit I did when I was young. But I digress. Basically what you'd do is, with the one with the crystals in it, you'd mix it, you'd put it into your plastic bottle. By that I mean you wouldn't mix the Drano, you'd just shake it real good, put it in your plastic bottle. Then you would, right before you get ready to cap your bottle off, and you'd want to do it real quick on the capping off, you would then take your aluminum foil, take that tight ball you made, and just drop it into that Drano. As soon as you drop it in, it's going to start fizzing up. So cap it off real quick, tie that thing off real quick, and throw it. Once you've thrown it, that shake seems to be the final ingredient it needs, because it would basically blow up like a giant plastic balloon and then explode in a very loud, concussive boom. And that's the kind of stupid shit we did back in the day. Now that you have the internet and you could probably find how to do something similar, they also move a lot quicker, because as soon as one of y'all figures out how to do something dangerous, you post it on whichever social media you trust, which you shouldn't, and then quickly enough people figure it out. I mean, it's why people make fun of for example, the milk crate challenge. I remember when that was all the rage. People make fun of stuff, but they also did the damn thing. I'm not here to make fun of you for things. I'm just telling you, try to do it as safely as you can. And if you can't do it safely, well, friends, especially in America, don't fucking do it. Like my grandmother would say, if you can't afford the hospital bill, don't fucking do the thing that might get you in there. And the broken leg always hides in the last jump. Just meaning, oh, I swung off of this badass jumping point, did 2 flips and landed in the creek. We're good. This is awesome. This is safe. Yeah, but then that last one you do is going to be the one you miss the creek by just a couple feet and end up with a super sprained ankle or a shattered, I almost said spleen. I mean, I guess that could happen in theory, but more likely you're going to sprain your ankle, shatter your ankle. If you're real unlucky and you land real bad, you could, totally shatter like your femur. But that would require like the femur is one of the strongest bones in the body. Incidentally, if it is damaged or broken, God forbid, for you, it's going to take the longest time to heal because it's one of the strongest. Some would say it'll never quite heal right if you don't do it just so, because the reason it's one of the strongest bones of your body, whenever you walk, you rely on your femur. There's a reason why a femur break and healing has always been a sign of higher intelligence. Because, yeah, y'all, if you're out in nature relying on bootstraps and... Howdy, dear viewer. But if you're out in nature relying on bootstraps and yourself and you get a big injury like a femur break or an ankle break, well, go ahead and sign off, friend. You probably ain't going to make it home. Whereas if you've got a team of even 1 to 2 extra people with you, well, friend, you're probably going to make it home then. I think the people I had in my survival class had said that depending on the nature of the break, how bad it is depending on how many people you need. But hell, just 2 people can make it out of a lot of situations. And that's why it's, survival requires people. In games it's fun to do alone, but IRL, rely on the people around you. And always keep people around you that you can rely on. Hey, that wolf guy, what's up? Well, that's cool then. That makes me feel a bit better. I've been saying hi and it was just up, gone, up, gone. I don't blame people. I totally get it. I'm a rambler and I kind of kill the fun of some of these games. I get that. But we hit an underground cavern with our staircase. Now I'm just trying to carefully dig into it without exposing the main base too much. Oh, dude, it's totally cool. Like I said, I'm totally happy anyone's here whenever y'all are here. But yeah, from humble beginnings. That's the other way down to it. It's all fancier and such. And I need to get over here to continue adding away over on this side. But yeah, on day 26, and I haven't died yet, thankfully, because if I die, we're done. I'm about to find out if copper actually works on here like it's supposed to yet. Fingers crossed it does, because I really could use some copper golems and the like. But if I can make armor, then I can make golems. If I can't do either, well then, that answers my question. And I don't think I'm going to be able to, but just to be sure. Nope. No luck there. Alright, no worries. Option B is I make solid blocks and see if that makes a difference. I don't think it will, because if I recall, the videos I saw made it seem like... Yeah, no. When it actually updates with the thing, it should... make it where you can just make the armor. Which is sad, but oh well. Alrighty. Welcome back. I'm just topping off the last of this copper bit here, and then I feel ya. I'm probably about to sign off here myself soon, just finishing off with these copper blocks first, and I'm debating on what to put on the console next. Oh no, it's all good. Like I said, I'm debating on what to put on here next, because it's either going to be Metal Gear Survive or Skyrim. I've also been debating on putting Red Dead back on here and trying it out some more. Because I've never actually played through the storyline. I've played online quite a bit, back when it first came out. But I never played all the way through the plot line, and... who do I give mod to? I don't know. Oh, sweet. But I don't... Oh, I think I gave it to David, or Bear Beater. I don't really have one that I know of. I'm still brand new to all of this. Oh, shit. See, I should just make it where I can see the light from outside real clearly. Well, I mean, I know that, like, I need to have moderators every time I live stream for, like, especially if I start to attract crowds. But for now, it's like, I'm pretty... Yeah, I've been on YouTube for years, but I've only started, like, making content and live streaming here recently. And like I said, I know, like, if I start to get hundreds of viewers like Hannah Reloaded, Hassan Piker, or something like that, yeah, I'll need moderators, but for now, it's like, occasionally I'll get bots and I'll just, okay, bye, and then delete them. And as far as my chat rules go, I'm basically, say whatever you like, defend your points if you make a point, but as long as you're not being, like, outright racist or bigoted, I'm pretty chill with my chat, so it's like, cross that bridge when I come to it. I know I'll eventually come to it, but for now it seems like we've been pretty good to avoid, like, the real bad folk. Plus, I mean, on a capitalist side of things, moderators, especially ones that actually know what they're doing, tend to cost money, and I have lots of personality and lots of time. Money I'm lacking in most of the time, especially after bills. It's why none of my content's edited either, because I would love to have an editor, but editing, especially good editing, costs money. And in the back of my head, if, well, like Dad used to say, if you're getting a product and you're not paying for the product, well then congratulations, you are the product. Now I know some people don't, like Cirrus, he's got moderators in his chat that do it for the love of the game, and it's like, there are plenty of people that you know of, or that you know of, there are plenty of streamers that I'm sure you probably know of that they've got moderators that are just their other friends and fellows. I mean, Sunset City, one of Cirrus's good God, I didn't realize how much of a tongue twister that would be. Sunset City, one of Cirrus's Sonic streams, is completely moderated by fans for free. But I had to take a pause there to get the, without making those S words, for friends for free. But still, it just kind of depends. It's like if I could get, I might do Metal Gear Survive because it's been long enough since I played it, and the last time I had the interfering roommate, interfering cousin, whatever you want to call it, he meant well enough, but he was big into Metal Gear Solid, so every time I would play, if he was on, he would get on to, air quote, help me, and end up just trying to older brother that thing to the point to where it wasn't fun. And if I was playing and I wasn't online, he would do the whole same thing. And again, I get what he was trying to do, but don't do that to people, it just sort of ruins their thing. And I still have the game on here, so it's basically Minecraft, but in the Metal Gear Solid universe. Minecraft, but with guns and headshots. It could be fun, it'll be very dramatic, and honestly, since I've beaten the piss out of Saints Row, and I haven't seen a lot of numbers come up from the recent streams on that one, I've uninstalled it. I'll probably go back to do Doc Ketchum's Murder Circus on my own time. But I was looking at another game that has an actual storyline to it, Not just Minecraft, 7 Days to Die, The Forest, but something with like a tangible, go here, do this, storyline. Because don't get me wrong, I like Cult of the Lamb. I fucking love Cult of the Lamb. But watching the numbers and the algorithm and all that, it's a fun game for me. And that's okay. But if it's not going to do numbers, I'd rather be streaming something to do numbers too. Especially if I have the option. We'll see if Fallout Shelter does numbers, or if it just becomes one of my fun casual when I can't. Well, yeah, and it's like, I also know I'm not going to become one of those, how do I put it? Okay, like how I play Assassin's Creed, where, oh, we need to take out this Spartan base. Well, fuck sneaking. If there are no witnesses, it is perfect stealth. That sort of thing. I can do that. But as far as, hey, y'all, watch me beat Super Mario Brothers in like 5 minutes without taking a piss. Not gonna be me, friend. I respect to the real ones, but not gonna be me. Same as, hey, watch me beat this game first playthrough on the hardest possible setting. I tried for Cult of the Lamb. I had a terrible time playing it. And then I switched over to normal mode, and hell, it's been a fun-ass time for me. So it's more of trying to, find what you can enjoy, but also make it entertaining for people. And if you start to feel like if you're not having fun, odds are your viewers aren't having fun either. My goal is for us to have fun here. At least as best as I can provide fun. Outside of that, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here other than a new passageway. We'll try to take it and make it go all the way to a new line. Maybe someday. That's more of just time plus talent. It's hanging out and doing the thing, and, The last thing I would want is to suddenly have a shit ton of subscribers and then lose that spark that makes me me. Lose the chill aesthetic I've sort of been trying to cultivate here, Because, we talk about real shit. The world's burning down. Fascism's goose-stepping its way across the damn country. Possibly into Canada soon if we're not real careful. It's like, shit's bad, y'all. Ain't gonna lie. Shit's real bad. But that being said, us just screaming about it on here every day ain't gonna change it. I mean, we'll address it every time we can, anytime we can. But when we can chill and have a fun game time, we'll chill and have a fun game time. Also, there's a village over here. I just have nothing to trade with them yet. I've been slowly building a road over to them. I'm kind of digging the hell out of this biome because everything that comes at me, I can see it usually. Also, raided a totally badass whole set of gold armor off of an undead over here. Got real lucky with that one. But yeah, I would have just never seen this. When I first ran across the thing, I'm like, well, that's a wild new mushroom. And I'm like, oh shit, it's a house. I'm much more entertained by actually talking about the ecosystems. I've been wanting to do more, Forget-Me-Not has been, and we've been missing each other every time, but we've been talking about doing going down the river, because the river here does tubing, and I'm totally going to rob this village. But the river here does tubing, and we've been talking about trying to do that sometime. I've got very little interest in just floating down the river for hours, but I would be very interested in taking the camera, especially one with a scope on it or a zoom, and spotting the various waterfowl, seeing what sort of plants are growing by the riverside. Just I have different interests than other people. Most people I talk to are, well, man, you should totally get some beer and float down with them. I'm like, if I want to be drunk, I'd rather be drunk on shore. If I'm on the river, I want to be doing something, but I don't know what to do, you know? I want to do something productive. Like the other day, I saw this turtle with a stupid long neck. It was neat as hell. I don't know what it's called. I've never seen one like that. I was too far away to get a good ID on it. Could be a hognose, could be something else. And I just, part of it's part of my bringing up, my raising. I grew up on Nat Geo documentaries and stuff like that, on Steve Irwin, and Steve Irwin's the main one I remember, but other people as well. Jeff something or other, I want to say. Yeah. That's it. I want to entertain and also help where I can help. It's where I've been trying to, if I could avoid showing the bags that I use to carry the food out of the restaurant, I would be showing a lot more streams where I've been throwing the food in the river. And here eventually I'm going to need to get a bucket and actually dredge some of the mud up out of the river, which is going to be a whole process, because I'm basically trying to get that good fertile soil, but not upset any of the clams or the snails or fish or any other wildlife in the mud and sediment. So I'm basically going to have to wait until we get more than one bucket at work so I can... Oh, dude, it's totally good. Like I said, just people watching, sharing the videos, clipping the good shit they like out of it. That's more than enough. I do not expect any kind of funding. But once work actually gets another pickle bucket or possibly soap bucket, because our soap's ultra whatever, like eco-friendly whatever. But the next time I get a bucket or another bucket I can work with, I plan on taking it down to the creek and the rivers where I've been feeding all this stuff into decomp, and just whatever the fish haven't eaten, or what they've eaten and they pooped out, I'm going to try to get that, put the animal life back in the river, and keep the dirt and the sediment, and then take it, and as I walk down the road where these potholes and stuff are, and where all these various divots that I twist my ankles in, take that river silt, pour it in the hole. It's ultra fertile dirt, so anything that it gets onto is basically going to grow real good, and it's an alternative that don't cost me nothing and helps out a lot. Plus, I'm already, like, on a personal vein level, seeing those gains that I've been getting from all this natural working out. On the downside, I'm also old, so... Yeah. Yeah, that too. I was about to say, I am also getting old. But, you know. But I think we're at a stopping point for the moment. Let's finish this room out right quick. Yeah, my little wild ones are settled for the moment, at least, thankfully. I love them, but Lord. I think they tuckered each other out wrestling because they've found a place. It's been very suspiciously quiet, but I'm assuming they're napping. This seems like a good place for me to stop. We'll come back down here and keep hollowing out and working down here in a little while. Probably spread this out and cut it around to make like a viewing fort as we go. And we will likely take, nope, that's the passageway, so my bed chamber's on the other side. we'll likely take that passageway and make an actual, like, subway system of sorts. I said, eventually when I've got, like, I know there's a way that we can all play on here, but I think that's realms, and for that I need to either get the channel monetized or start finding a way to pour a little bit extra into it, and then we'll play on, like, realms or something. Till then, well, till then it'll be like, you know, whatever we can. Oh, well, I know like one or two of us can play at a time on here through invites and friends as long as you're on the PlayStation Network, I think. But yeah, I was about to say, either way, we'll talk about it later. For now, be good. We'll catch y'all in a little bit for something else. As soon as something else downloads. And I got a little bit of cleaning up to do around here. So, we'll talk to you here in a little while. Thanks for coming out. And we will see you later. Bye for now.